Did you know there was a study by Northwestern University, and it found that people who are comfortable with uncertainty tend to be more creative and innovative. It's wild to think that our brains actually thrive on a bit of the unknown.
Yeah.
Today we're taking a deep dive into the power of uncertainty
Okay.
to explore this idea further.
That's a fascinating study. It really highlights the book's core premise that our aversion to uncertainty is actually holding us back from reaching our full potential.
Yeah, it seems counterintuitive though, right? We're conditioned to plan, to seek security,
Yeah.
to avoid risk at all costs.
Right.
But this book suggests we need to flip that script entirely.
Exactly. Yeah, the book uses the analogy of a tightrope walker. Too much focus on control and you become rigid. You lose your balance and fall. But if you embrace the sway, the uncertainty of each step, you find a fluidity and grace that allows you to move forward.
Okay. I'm starting to see how that applies to life beyond the tightrope. But how does this whole embracing uncertainty thing actually work?
Yeah.
It still feels kind of scary to me.
Well, think about some of the biggest breakthroughs in history, the internet, the light bulb, even life-saving medical discoveries.
Right.
None of them came from playing it safe, right?
Right.
They all involved taking risks, experimenting, venturing into the unknown.
So are you saying that we should just throw all caution to the wind and jump into every unknown situation we encounter?
Not quite. The book isn't advocating for recklessness. It's more about recognizing that discomfort and uncertainty are often signposts pointing us towards growth and opportunity. Yeah. It's about learning to trust ourselves and the process of life, even when things feel unpredictable.
Okay. Can you give me an example of what that trust might look like in a real life situation?
Sure. Let's say you're considering a career change. Yeah. Something you've always dreamed of but feel terrified to pursue. Instead of getting bogged down by the fear of the unknown, what if I fail, you shift your perspective. You acknowledge the fear, but focus on the potential for growth and fulfillment. You start by taking small steps, maybe taking a course, or talking to people in that field.
So it's about finding that balance between acknowledging the fear but not letting it paralyze you.
Yeah.
It's about taking action even when you don't have all the answers.
Precisely. It's about moving forward with a sense of curiosity and openness, allowing yourself to learn and adapt along the way. It's about trusting that you have the inner resources to handle whatever challenges arise.
Yeah. This is reminding me of the quote, "The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek." It seems like embracing uncertainty is the key to unlocking not only our potential, but also a more exciting and fulfilling life.
Absolutely. When we let go of the need for certainty, we open ourselves up to a world of possibilities. We free ourselves from the pressure of needing everything to go according to plan and become more adaptable and resilient in the face of life's inevitable curveballs.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But isn't there a risk of becoming too passive if we just go with the flow all the time?
Right.
Don't we still need to set goals and make plans?
The book actually addresses that directly. It's not about abandoning planning altogether. It's more about holding our plans loosely, being open to adjustments, and recognizing that the journey might look different than we initially imagined.
So it's about finding that sweet spot between intention and flexibility.
You got it. It's about having a direction in mind, but being willing to deviate from the path if a more interesting opportunity presents itself. Think of it as navigating by stars, not by a rigid map. You know your destination, but are open to exploring uncharted territories along the way.
I like that analogy a lot. It feels less like giving up control and more like embracing a different kind of control.
Yeah.
One that's more aligned with the unpredictable nature of life.
That's a great way to put it. It's about recognizing that we can't control everything, but we can control our response to the things we can't control.
Right.
We can choose to approach uncertainty with fear or with curiosity, with rigidity, or with flexibility.
This whole conversation is really shifting my perspective.
Okay.
So if uncertainty is actually the key to unlocking our potential, how do we start cultivating this mindset? How do we become more comfortable with the unknown?
That's where the real work begins. The book offers a variety of practical strategies and techniques for building our uncertainty muscles. It talks about the importance of mindfulness, of of recognizing and challenging our limiting beliefs and of developing a more trusting and compassionate relationship with ourselves. One of the most powerful tools the book highlights is reframing. Instead of viewing uncertainty as a threat, we can start to see it as a source of excitement and possibility.
Reframing, huh? It sounds simple, but I imagine it takes a lot of conscious effort to actually shift that ingrained mindset.
It does, but the book provides some great examples. Let's say you're facing a major decision with an uncertain outcome. Instead of getting stuck in a loop of what ifs, you can ask yourself, what if this leads to something amazing that I can't even imagine right now? That subtle shift in perspective can make a huge difference.
So it's about choosing to focus on the potential upside
Mm.
rather than getting bogged down by the potential downside.
Exactly. And that's not to say we should ignore the risks or challenges. It's more about acknowledging them while also holding space for the possibility of positive outcomes.
Yeah, it's like choosing to approach the unknown with a sense of curiosity and adventure rather than fear and apprehension.
You got it. The book even talks about the concept of uncertainty as a playground. Instead of seeing it as a scary place to avoid, we can choose to see it as a space for exploration, experimentation, and discovery.
I'm really starting to see how this ties into the idea of creativity and innovation. The book mentions that some of the most creative individuals in history were those who were most comfortable with uncertainty.
Right. Think about artists, entrepreneurs, scientists.
Right.
They're constantly pushing boundaries, experimenting with new ideas and embracing the unknown. They're not afraid to fail because they see failure not as an endpoint, but as a stepping stone to something better.
That reminds me of the Thomas Edison quote. I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work.
It seems like that kind of resilience is essential for anyone who wants to achieve something truly remarkable.
Resilience is definitely a key theme throughout the book. It emphasizes that embracing uncertainty actually helps us develop resilience.
That's that.
When we're willing to face the unknown, to step outside our comfort zones, we inevitably encounter setbacks and challenges. But each time we navigate those challenges, we become a little stronger, a little more adaptable, a little more capable of handling whatever life throws our way.
Yeah. It's like building those uncertainty muscles you mentioned earlier.
Exactly. The more we expose ourselves to the unknown, the more we strengthen our ability to cope with stress, adapt to change, and overcome obstacles. We develop a mindset that sees challenges as opportunities for growth rather than threats to our well-being. You know, this is making me think about how often we try to shield ourselves from discomfort, from uncertainty. But what if that discomfort is actually the catalyst for our greatest growth?
That's a powerful insight. The book talks about how our comfort zones are like cages. They might feel safe and familiar, but they also limit our potential. It's only when we step outside those cages, when we embrace the discomfort of the unknown, that we truly discover who we are and what we're capable of.
This all sounds very empowering, but I'm curious about the practical side of things. Are there specific things we could do on a daily basis to cultivate this kind of mindset?
Absolutely. The book offers a range of strategies. One is to start small. Instead of making drastic changes, look for small ways to step outside your comfort zone each day. Try a new food, strike up a conversation with a stranger, take a different route to work.
Yeah, those are great examples.
Yeah.
It seems like those small acts of courage can build up over time and make us more comfortable with uncertainty in general.
Exactly. And another powerful tool is mindfulness, paying attention to our thoughts and emotions. Noticing when fear or resistance arise can help us become more aware of our patterns and start to challenge those limiting beliefs that keep us stuck.
So it's about becoming more self-aware and recognizing those moments when fear is holding us back from taking a leap of faith.
Precisely. And once we become aware of those fears, we can start to question them. Are they based on reality or are they just stories we're telling ourselves? Often when we examine our fears more closely, we realize they're not as formidable as we thought they were.
This all makes me think about how much energy we waste on worrying about things that might never happen. What if we channel that energy into action, into exploration, into embracing the unknown?
That's a great point. The book emphasizes that living with uncertainty is not about eliminating worry altogether. It's more about shifting our focus from worry to action, from fear to curiosity.
It's about accepting that life is inherently unpredictable and choosing to navigate that unpredictability with a sense of adventure rather than apprehension.
You've captured it perfectly. It's about recognizing that uncertainty is not the enemy. It's a fundamental part of life, and it's often the catalyst for our greatest growth, creativity, and fulfillment.
This deep dive has been so insightful. It's really challenged my perspective on how to approach life's inevitable uncertainties.
I'm glad to hear that. It's been a fascinating conversation for me as well.
As we wrap up this discussion, is there one final thought you'd like to leave our listener with? Something to inspire them to embrace the power of uncertainty in their own lives? I'm ready for that final thought. Something to really help solidify this new perspective on uncertainty.
Well, the book's conclusion beautifully emphasizes that embracing uncertainty is ultimately an act of faith. Faith in ourselves, faith in the process of life, and faith that even when we don't have all the answers, things will unfold as they should.
I love that. It's not about blind faith, though, right? It's about cultivating a deep trust in our own ability to navigate whatever comes our way.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that we have inner resources and strengths that we might not even be aware of until we're challenged to tap into them. It's about believing that even when things feel uncertain, we have the capacity to adapt, learn, and grow.
Yeah, it's almost like a muscle, isn't it?
Yeah.
The more we exercise our faith muscle by stepping into the unknown, the stronger and more resilient it becomes.
That's a great way to put it. And the beautiful thing is that the rewards of embracing uncertainty are immense. It can lead to incredible breakthroughs, unexpected adventures, deeper connections, and a more authentic and fulfilling life.
It's like that quote by Neil Donald Walsh, life begins at the end of your comfort zone. It seems like the unknown is where the real magic happens.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I'd like to leave you with this question to ponder. If you could try anything, pursue any dream, or step into any unknown territory without the fear of failure holding you back, what would you do?
That's such a powerful question. It's a reminder that we all have incredible potential within us, just waiting to be unleashed. And sometimes all it takes is a willingness to embrace uncertainty and see where it leads.
Remember, the path might not always be clear, and there will be bumps along the way. But if you can cultivate that sense of trust, that willingness to surrender to the flow of life. You might be amazed at what you discover.
This has been an incredible deep dive. I feel like I have a whole new toolkit for navigating uncertainty and turning it into a catalyst for growth and adventure.
It's been my pleasure. Remember, the unknown is not something to fear, but something to embrace. It's where we find our true potential and create a life that's truly our own.